And may I select to be praised to whom all praise are due is the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated Women Auxiliary presents Empress Sadi Saunders.
Greetings and blessings to each and every one on this wonderful Sunday afternoon, evening for some people, depending on what part of the world you are, because we go far and we go wide. But in New York City, it's like 7:11 p.m. That's a great number. So I want to welcome each and every one to the show this evening. This is Sadi Gomez of Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated, Woman Auxiliary, Local 26, coming to you live and live. It's always live, so whatever, we give thanks for the day. We thank the Almighty for bringing us forth unto this day and one more day of spirit light and the tender mercies to which we give thanks that we can see each other's face for one more time. Thanking always to my internet Charlie for his profound work within the Woman Auxiliary, helping us for many, many years to be a success. And thanking for Peter Shiloh for my jingle, which gonna last forever. As I told you, Peter Shiloh is going to last forever. So we'll forever be looking fresh and young as I jingle. So we give thanks. And to all who have invited my listening audience out there, some of you can make it on screen, but I know you're out there listening in the YouTube. I want to greet you with greetings and blessings as well. And to my sister Donna, who comes on sometimes, my sister Khadijah, sister Roseanne. I want to greet a special sister, Sister Sonia, who I did not listen to me, but I talked with her yesterday and she said, I listened to the show. So I'm so happy, sister, that you are not on panel, but you are in the background listening. So we give thanks as well. Sister Laurel, and to my brothers also, my brother Mark, my other many, many brothers. I want to say welcome. So on Sunday evenings, you know what we do here. What we do, we have a mat in case with the new listening audience. Oh yes, we do. And we normally take from what's under the mat, we examine it, and then we put it back. Because by now, we know it's gonna have our beeswax. So we just simply leave things alone. So our show this evening, we take the news or what's happening in the news. I don't watch the news in that sort of way, but oftentimes I would look at the news to know what's happening or what we could bring on our show, what we could possibly analyze. And I saw something on the news. We don't pass any judgment, but this was happening in Brooklyn, New York. A manhole was open somewhere in Williamsburg, and there was activities of people going in and out, and also a manhole was somewhere down the street, some minutes away, and that also was open, and there were activities of persons going in and out. Now the whole place has cameras, so you'll know this was filmed. But ironically, the people who was going in and out were not arrested. The police went in there and they deemed the manhole to be safe. So we safe, nothing's going to blow up, no electrical problems. But what was happening with that activity in the manhole, no one can know, or the tunnel that may lay below, no one knows because it was simply brushed under the rug. And maybe that is where we would have to leave it. So many things happen along the way, but that one was quite local, so we did mention it. There are other things are happening as well. On this side of town, we love to bring the UFO story and the alien story. And we are getting wiser as we go along. Our studio audience informs us, and we read along, and our various other chat groups will also inform us that the aliens or UFO sightings of these extraterrestrials, as they're sometimes termed, they are indeed the fallen angels. And we on this side of town, what we like to do, we like to give truths and we like you to come with the truth. Despite how ridiculous it may sound, but we really like to inform our audience of things that are real and true because we're going to start to see where did they come from. Okay, there are other planetary systems that we discuss, and of course we do have as well the intellectuals who I will invite on the panel, hope they come on to really discuss that celestial body. But we are speaking here of our spiritual self and trying to come to terms with what is happening. As we sit here or stand here or in the world today, in this present moment, because what we have is the present, the now, things has changed. The world, as we have known it, let's just say 5, 10 years ago, has drastically changed. There are things showing up in our waters that we have to accept now to be true, whether we like it or not. These are such things like the mermaids. The mermaids were a group of people, a body, or let's say a community that existed, and their sightings were quite rare. Various people, some in the Caribbean, would have said that they were seeing mermaids, and you would have been dismissed really quickly as being out of your head, smoking some drugs, something that was not acceptable or spoken about or even believable. Today, in the age of cell phones, social media, you cannot help but know it to be true because so many different people all over the world cannot be telling the same lie at the same time. The sightings are in all various parts of the ocean: Florida, Caribbean, India, Russia. These are some of the videos I've seen. Now, AI will take a good chance, of course, to mimic some of the activities and show you some really scary things. It's a trouble now for us to decide which is true, which is fake, which is AI. AI is operating at a very intellectual level, but some things we know are true, is happening. So the mermaids are showing themselves, and now the mermen who has probably been shy all this while are now showing themselves, all smiling, all cute looking, and I'm just saying we are entering a new phase of our reality. But there are other creatures involved as well, humanoid, tiny creatures, insect type creatures. And these are showing up in various places, as we did mention in our last conversation. So, why all of this is being spoken again today? As I was reflecting upon what is happening, we have to really know within ourselves what we ought to do. Because what is happening is already happening and has been happening a long time before our eyes were able to see, because we were unable to lift ourselves into such realities. But some of us now are eyes wide open, we have lifted a higher dimension, and now we are seeing things. At this point of seeing things, what do we do? Because the things are there and they are real. So we have to now wrap ourselves around this reality to understand that there were, in fact, Bigfoots, there were, in fact, other things that were not mentioned. However, we are coming to an understanding that we are not being ruled even by humans, which, we let our gracious intellectual studio audience weigh in on this as well. So, government is not what it seems, as you know, politics and elections and all of that is really a facade. So, we are being ruled by a different governing body, higher intellectual, and some of them are not really so kind, so that we have to examine as well. How do we decipher who is kind or who is wicked? This is something in our senses, our sixth sense will have to kick in and let us know. Because soon and very soon, they would appear and show themselves. So as again, we get back to the what to do. What do you do? When strange beings appear, the first thing that we would encounter is fear. And this is one of the components we like to speak about as far as our nature goes. For each one of us, at some point in time, would have encountered fear, whether temporary or long term or however it would come. And some fear would last with us and become really traumatic, as I understand from later overstanding, that it can really reside in your DNA and could go on for generations. So I didn't even know that fear could be generational as such, but it can be, and it is a factor as well. So it's seeing these new neighbors, we probably have to call them, because they're living among us. And what we don't know is who is kind and who is wicked. But what we have to do when we encounter fear, what do we do? So, interesting enough that we have entered into new phases and we said our eyes are open, what is now we're going to see? And we are going to see things that we have not seen before or could even have an explanation for. It is real. So now fail. In lifting our vibration, what we ought to do is enter into higher spiritual realms. And this is something that we have to really find out how do we do. Because people will tell you, okay, you have to enter the higher spiritual realms. Okay, so how do we do that? That's why we're here today to give you small but very important ways and means of which you can enter into such places. Because you must enter into a higher spiritual realm in order to deal with what's going to come upon the earth. Because you cannot afford to walk around frightened all day. You have to know what to do when you encounter the fear. So therefore, you have to now prepare yourself, which will be your higher self, to accept we are entering almost like a new world. It's a world where other species and beings are now among us or being seen quite clearly, and fear would come upon us when there's no explanation for certain things. So we ought not to be afraid because this is just the way it is. It's not going to go away. It's just that our acceptance of what has happened, what is being shown. Full disclosure, oh yes, it's coming our way. But we try to understand what it is all about. As I said earlier on, they're the fallen angels. Of course, they were spirit beings. And when they fall with the bright and morning star, and 1/3 of the stars were fallen, they had to get into bodies, into vessels so they can move around. And for those who, I guess, they came, they would have to have taken some form. And they took many different forms. That's why you see demons, half bird, half fish, and various other species of things that are ridiculously formed. These things, in studies and you read, because, everything coexists. They're angels, and we know beautiful angels. They're also demons and demonic activities, and they have taken forms. As they continue to be among us, they took also forms of reptilian type creatures, and they were able to shapeshift. And we saw also in the ancient times, the book tells us that the sons of God came into the sons of man, which we the women were quite attractive, and they had another breed which was like the giant. So this came among us. But what is importantly, as we're not seeing these creatures anymore in the numbers that they were, importantly is the bloodline. The bloodline has continued to pass on, and as these creatures intermingle with humans, they became more pleasant looking and they're among us. And they have taken places in high places like government, judiciary, the medical field, NASA. They would of course like to be places like that. And we're also seeing where there are people who are hybrids, people who are not just that's just the way it is. They're among us, they're doing strange things, and for some reason, they have billions of dollars to do what they're doing. blowing up rockets accidentally. I heard just a few weeks ago, Elon Musk had a rocket that blew up, and that was billions of dollars. That probably was just small change, but that actually happened in the news, as people would send me information. But some things, as we say, news do not make the news. And speaking of news, I just have to peep again. I saw that 2 days ago that our president, medical doctor, gave him a clean bill of health. So he's good to go, ready, and everything is just right. He has a perfect bill of health. So, that's under the rug story. I have to be careful. Because you don't throw rugs, you don't throw stones when you have glass windows. So each and every one of us have to be so mindful and careful of our health. But we see how, if we go to the doctor, they're going to write up some kind of sodium, lack of sodium deficiency, or some kind of too much sweet in the blood, or, they're going to write up something, hypertension. They're going to give us something that we have to deal with to take medication, of course. But, it's different privilege for different people, clean bill of health, people say good to go. So we wouldn't, labor on that topic too much, but I wish everyone the best of health, and those who are listening here, best of health. So we are here this evening, and as I said, we take a few things from under the rug, we examine it, but we have our very interesting guests here with us, and we want to open up our panel conversation, and we get back into more conversation. So, I want to just say hi to Peter Shiloh. So we are so happy that you are back with us. You didn't move so far away. So based on what we have this evening, what would you like to talk about? We welcome you. You are in the musical unit of the Local 26, and you are doing great. So, we want to tell us something as we greet you.
Greetings and blessings to you and everyone online, the engineer, and all our brothers and sisters. Black people across the universe. Big up on yourself. Yeah, man. Right now, it's just reality. What is happening about these people, them call it aliens or superior beings or what they want to call them? They have been here for a long, 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 long time. And prophets come and say a lot of things. But it seems as if the people are not listening to the prophets. The Bible even told us that what was hidden from the wise and prudent now revealed to the babe and suckling. So these things which was hidden is now being revealed, and it is being revealed to the youths, right? And the elders are so drunk with the old colonial teaching and the old colonial slave master ways and doings. The doings of the dragon, the beast, and the harlot and the eagle, all these vain things creep in their mind. So they have no space for reality and prophecy. Prophecy must fulfill, as the Almighty say. Before one of his word don't come past, heaven and earth move. Heaven and earth not going nowhere. I see where one leader is trying to educate the people about what is happening and what is coming. And I kind of give him a little hats up for that. He don't want to be blamed for certain things which is going to happen, right? Because the people is going to rise up and say, why didn't you let us know all these things? And he don't want to be responsible for that because the people is going to be very hungry to know that you held back the truth from them so long. The truth is the only thing that can set us free right now. These people are showing up. They are here and they're not hiding anymore. So coping is one of the things that we must think about now. What are we gonna do? How are we gonna cope? Because it seems that these people is more from more spiritual intellectuality than most of us on earth here, and more advanced in certain spirituality. So it is the government who is to get these people now educated about what is coming, you know. But it is coming, it is here already, and it is unfolding. You understand? So I would encourage everyone to sit tight and study prophecy. But when you know what is coming, you won't be alarmed and you won't be afraid. Back to the house. Enough love and respect.
Bless. I like something you said, Shiloh, that you reflect upon. You said you speak about love. These beings are dealing, the benevolent ones, they're dealing with love, the aspect of love, that the fact that we are created and we are one and do not realize that and are fighting wars among each other, killing innocent blood, bombing up places, and they are not happy with that. So some of them are going to show us what love is really about as far as that high level of which the heart feel different because you could only really appreciate and love when the heart could feel different. If you're going to say you have awoken and you're entering to new celestial places, but there's not a shift in your heart, and your mind as to how you function, then you have not yet evolved. So this is going to show wisdom and how it can take us into a high place. But love is really the vehicle to be used. So I like what you know, our guest kind of said earlier on in this conversation. You're on point with that. And mankind has strayed so far from that genuine love of the Almighty, whereby we were created just to do so. We were beings that were just to worship, but we have gone on to all sorts of activity leading onto the conquest of our imagination. And we have ended up in such a state of which now we have to return. Some of us are closer than some. But I just heard, as I was in a chat sometime last week, that all must be saved, none must be left back. So I'm just thinking, if some are ahead, those others who are catching on will have to try to speed up because the time is short as far as, the knowledge is blowing. So those really have to kind of catch up and understand things are different now. The heart has to be filled with love. And it's such a trying time to have to do so. How do you manage? But that's a challenge that in order to ascend with I can't say the chosen only, but just to ascend into that place where you can function on the earth, but not be of the earth because of what is going to become in a time. So we are looking for coping mechanisms to function among the various strange things, I should say, but it won't be so strange since they're showing us so many times over and over to normalize what is going on. We wake up one morning and just see on the TV. I'm like, oh well, that's spoke because it would be so we've gotten numb to it at this point with all the social media advances. But at this time, I so want to hear what Charlie wants to say. He's with us. Charlie, you heard our evening conversation. I want to welcome you to the show. I know Charlie was with us, and radio times in 1 minute feels like a half a day. So, Charlie, if you're there, I want to welcome you to reflect on our topic a little bit. Sometimes I like the panel to be really filled so that way we don't have to talk all along, but we have some voices and from other people coming in so we can hear how they feel and how they want to reflect upon the various topics. Because this is happening to us in real time, it's happening to us at the same time. We are observing new and different things at the same time. So we are trying to cope very much with what's going on, and we are trying to have coping mechanisms to do so. We are entering into a very spiritual time, and that time is quite interesting, very, very interesting, more so than any other time. And for such time, we are seeing where even the scientists are beginning to see how spiritual things affect. And that also helped me to know that there are 11 scientists missing right now, or probably 13 as we speak. So, scientists is what is coming to terms with the knowledge of the Almighty as far as creation and explaining things. Since they are unable to do so, there must be a God. So there is, in fact, a God of one we serve and we love and has brought us forth on this day. There, that too is also the truth. So for this time again, I'm asking Charlie if he's around or if he's having his dinner, he will be able to come on. I was hoping other people would come on as well. So we wait for them and we wait to see if Charlie would
Well,
show up.
we could touch a topic. I have a very interesting topic that I would love to touch when you
Oh,
are free.
okay, I have very well. Let me let you go. Probably right in your mind, Shiloh. So we'll all
Well,
join in.
well, we could reason it together because I would want to talk about this Ebola thing in Africa. You know?
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. I'm saying is Africa has had a problem with Ebola, from time to time. But I still don't comfortable with the origins which they say it came from. You know? They say it came from some bird or fruit or whatever. And you know, Ebola to me is just another man-made disease thrown in Africa for me personally. You know, Africa is doing so well right now. And the other day, an artist said to me, look out, there's gonna be something new. When you see, look out, you see something good is happening to Africa, there's gonna be something devastating. And within a week, this Ebola thing rise up. Where was Ebola? Or why, where Ebola comes from? We should find it and stop it long time. You understand? Because we, the black people, it has been affected mostly. Why is it not been destroyed? The root of it. You understand what I'm saying? If you know that something is there which is so dangerous to humanity, why couldn't the world come together and try to get rid of it? You understand me? Get it out. That it doesn't exist anymore to harm people. So I think when I look at it, this is just a germs warfare. They're trying to destroy black man and black people again, the black nation. That's how I look at it. I don't know if I'm wrong. Father, forgive me if I'm wrong, but all of a sudden, where this Ebola just come from, stems from? Why is Africa alone affected by it and all? I have to ask these questions. Why is it black people mostly affected by these things? You know, we can't just
Okay.
sit down and just
Let
watching
me
all
ask
these
you,
things.
let me answer your question if you would. I don't want to cut you. If you finish speaking, I will answer your question.
Yes,
So,
I'm finished. Yeah, I'm finished.
okay, so you asked the question like three times, where did Ebola come from? You also answered your question as well, because what is happening and what has happened along the way, because you said something important as well, that you were speaking to someone recently and they said, as there's a rise within Africa, look out for something devastating happening.
Yes,
And
he's
that,
an artist too. An artist.
all right, so
Reggae.
give me a time to speak so we don't be shout and shudder. So let me let you speak if you want to speak. So I just want to answer what you're going to deal with right here. So you said something, so I just want to answer to you so I don't lose my train of thought at the moment. You said also it's a germ warfare, and that too is also true. So if you know these things are designed and has always been a design over the years. So we should not be alarmed and be so in awe as to these things happening, but we just have to know in a timing some things will happen. So we watch for the timing. Ebola has been placed in Africa sometime some years ago, and there was some vaccination, and you know who would benefit from that. So again, you're looking at a pattern, which you yourself answered when you said is a germ war, because in that way, with people having Ebola, they'll have to be vaccinated, and the vaccine has to come from somewhere and has to be paid for. So you understand how things would have gone.
Yes, it's a monetary trick.
All right. So in speaking about it, we here we like to, overstand things. We're not having to be in awe of things. So truly enough, we understand what's happening. So it's a mystery to us. We do not have the control over how certain things would go simply, but we do understand when something is happening and what is really happening. So you answered really good. It's a good observation to know that if something was placed, a lot of people would die, a lot of people would be vaccinated, and which, of course, is a cost for such. And there's something else you said that as well. We somehow, after a while, follows a pattern of how things go, and we pick up on that pattern. So it's a pattern of how things go, how things play out, and we are slowly picking up on that pattern. At some point, they can't fool us anymore because things have been exposed. So we greet each and every one, we thank you so much, Shai, for giving us that peace, and we welcome each and every one to the show. Bless. Greetings. Okay, so we know we have Charlie somewhere in the background. We would just ask him if anyone else come on with us. But Charlie, we know you're probably having your dinner. So we call out to you to say hi.
Hello, in
Well,
between mouthfuls.
Hi,
huh?
Charlie.
I am having my dinner. Hello, everyone. Ron
Yeah,
Robinson is trying to get in, but he seems to be having some type of difficulties with his camera.
I saw he came on.
Yeah, he briefly keep on a little bit. Yeah, so we were talking about Shiloh brought up about the Ebola. I just rounded up him to let him know it's not a mystery that some things happen when they do happen, but merely design plans that help things you know institutionalize, I should say, and manifest simply because there are powers that be that benefit from certain miseries that are caused upon the earth. So disease would mean vaccination, sick people, it means death. And I also understand as we are speaking, I was with some chatty people, they chat a lot, and they were telling me that actually a dead person is worth more than a living person because a dead person is now worth $1 million. It can be cut in various parts. Organs can be used and sold, and they break it down. One kidney, $40, 40,000, two kidneys, 80,000. Heart, liver, lungs. They go down to fingernails, teeth, hair, and private parts. So this is a case where we are seeing a different type of world because imagine with Ebola, that's going to be well for somebody. Pain and suffering for other people, but it's designed where that system is going to benefit from that occasion. And at different times, we see diseases come upon the world, upon the earth. In countries, we see Africa mostly suffered along the way when the hysteria started. And they would say it came from some monkey or some lab, but we often know that design over there. So we welcome each and everyone to the show this evening. We know that Rams was trying to get in. It's like people from the next.
Yeah.
And we have Shiloh here with us. Charlie, we don't know if you're having a dinner, if you want to weigh in on any of our subjects that we touched earlier on. Well, Rod
Yes.
Rob. Hi, have you
Good evening, everyone, and
blessed
Good
you?
evening, brother.
I've been listening. Um, the depopulation theory process has been going on since Caesar. All right. How to control, how to take over. You know, the people. That have been in place for 750 years. The Dark Ages, or the Dark Ages. Well, after Caesar, the Dark Ages. And so this is nothing new, but there's something I'm remembering. As a man thinketh, so he is. Now, if we have been programmed all this time, indoctrinated to think who we are not, because they told us who we are not. We are not. We're not human. We're not. We're not worth anything until the bank started. And so on. This is how we think. We have to get out of. We have to what's the term? Debunk or everything that we've learned, especially in this country. That has been indoctrinated through the school education system. It's their education system, not ours. And so we knew who we were when we came here. But they beat it out of us. Same thing with Africa. Colonialism was first when the man was physically there, and then you had neo-colonialism. He didn't have to be there. He already got your mind, got your education, got your food, got everything. So we really have to rethink this. Now, the God in us, and I remember hearing, and I keep on saying, it's the God in us who is the hope of salvation. He's given us everything that we need to survive or to be him. He didn't create a religion. He says, follow the way. But the Bible and these people who wrote it, like King James, because he wanted to control. He wanted to be able to control people. With Christianity, it was Christianity. It was only the way. And so on. So we have to we have to be debriefed. That's the word I was in this. And I think within the past couple of years, for myself, this debriefing has been coming on with knowledge, understanding, and focusing on who I am. And I am Ronald Amkwandu Robinson. I am a God, the God which is named, but I am. Didn't I say that you were gods and sons of the Most High? What's the confusion now? That we know that, but a lot of us don't know that we are that. We haven't got to that point where we believe it. And that's more debriefing, and that may take generations.
It sure may take generations because some things has been embedded into our DNA. Not realizing how much pain and suffering after 400 years of struggling to get back to that person, to get back to that higher state. So as we struggle along, we grow strength to strength. And Ronnie, you're so informative about so many things that are happening. I like, as I reflect upon what you said concerning, supporting Shiloh's conversation, it is about the population. And again, that is a design plan. That is a design plan that's so blatantly spoken about that you wonder how could some group of people decide who should live and who should die. But that's a different story for another day, because as I just said, I do understand a dead person is worth so much more now. So there are people who are in the business of dead people. This is happening, this is real, and some people have also been arrested in certain meat market areas for having human parts on display for sale. So if there's a human leg or arm in a
China
store,
buys a lot of that.
how do they get the arm?
Kidnapping. All right, taking children at birth. You know, all right? Because we signed the system has made it so that we sign over our children to the
And the
system.
immigrants, taking the immigrants and doing them that too.
You know, not just even the immigrants too, but as soon as we sign birth certificate, you know, or anything, we belong to the system. The man doesn't have any control because it's the woman who is producing, and they can take control, leave the man out, take control of the woman, and everything that comes from her. Remember, back in the day, we had breeding colonies in Virginia, and I'm sure in the islands too. They knew who we were. They knew who our women were. Gods. We create what they can't create, and they're not able to create too much because their birth rates are down like nobody's business. You know, so this is what it is.
Listen, not only are their birth rate down, they understand that, and this is why they went back and reversed Roe v. Wade,
Yes.
so that they can produce more white babies. Let's not beat around the bush. They want to produce more white babies because the white race is dying off. Now, here's the thing. We talk about the depopulation and wanting to get rid of all black people. Think about this. If you Google the history of black people, right? It is said that the research will take us back 7 million years. And if you do the same for white or Caucasian, it goes back 4,500. So you have 7 million years of history as opposed to 4,500. Those that's 4,500 would like to get rid of everyone that's here so that it could all be theirs. Because for some reason, that people that fall into that group are very, very much interested in the resources here and having them resources for themselves. Whereas you find black people, for the most part, naturally feel as though most things on the earth belong to everybody and everybody can use it. That is not the mentality of some of our counterparts. And getting rid of everyone has always been part of the agenda. I mean, you can read certain books like the Learned Elders of Zion, all right, dealing with the Zionists. They will show you it's all written in their plan to do the things that they're doing. The very things that we see going on now is all in that book. The wars, the famine, the control of the food, control of the media, control of the information is all there as to their plan to get rid. Listen, let's not forget the program of eugenics and them wanting to control the population, give us what we now know today as the Planned Parenthood. Okay, Planned Parenthood was part of the eugenics project to control black births, to keep black women from having children. So they came up with this plan to give out condoms to everyone under the auspices of being safe sex. So we got to understand these histories and where these things come from. And, you know, when we talk about Ebola, I remember the last time that they were talking about Ebola, and it was an Ebola virus, and it was all on the news on the 24-hour cycle. But then they kept only showing 5 people that had Ebola. And I kept saying, well, what kind of epidemic they're having with 5 people? Are they just trying to put this message out there? So even now, that's the first thing that came to my mind when I hear about this Ebola thing again. How much of this is theater? How much of this foul footage that we see is not produced to give a narrative as part of a bigger plan that they had to come in and do something else? Okay, we all know, we all see the independence that Africa is operating and walking in now. There are those that feel as though that is antithetical to their overall objective and would love to see that stop. You understand? Before they have some more Ibrahim and Burkina Faso show up, and these other countries starting to take control of their own resources, they got to find a way to stop that. And the reality of it is, it's really all falling apart on
Yes.
every level and everywhere that you look.
Charlie, there's something you said, and I want to really get it before I lose my train of thought. There's something really, really profound. You said that there are certain people who were here for the 4,500 years, and there are other batch of people here who were here for over 7 million years. Now, we only bring truth on this side. And to support your truth, just a few days ago, I was in a chat and we were sitting with certain high spiritualists and they were challenging energy. And they carefully said that, the Caucasian people that they know came from certain star systems and came upon the Earth over 4,500 years ago, which is the star system that they came from Vegas. But the question was asked, and this helps support a lot of things that you have said. They say when they got here, there were some people living here and they were quite dark. So, I mean, we only do truths on the side. So even the aliens or the people from the other star system said they saw the niggers, they can't really hide. So Black people have been here for quite a long time. And people who came, even from other star systems, met them and knew that they had inherited the earth and they have been here in what other form, but they were described as melanated people, and we know who are the melanated people. So we would probably see some aliens coming back very, very dark skinned, the families, they might be showing up at barbecues and everything. But that's something what Charlie just said. And also to reflect on the part of, as he gone again with the Ebola, we have seen that pop up, pop on, off, and there it go. We know what time it is. We know what's happening in the motherland, and we know of the destructive qualities. But for some destructions, their power is failing and they are falling apart. And it's a desperate struggle like a drowning man clutching at a straw. So, welcome each and everyone this evening. This is Sadi Kumas of Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated. Local 26th Woman Auxiliary coming to you live and alive. So the floor is open, and of course, Ronnie, so happy to have you here. And our special guest, always, Cheryl, happy to have you here as well. So the floor is open for to join in.
I think uh, within all of this, we have to remember um, why this is happening. As far as Africa and here too. I'm looking at the political situation here, but I'm also looking at people still being hung. This is nothing new. Still being hung. In the past 5-10 years, there's been hangings of Black students, attempted hanging of Black people in parks throughout the United States. And so on. They're scared. And now what's going on in Africa? I believe that the Most High is protecting Malima, and Tuareg. You know, especially Tuareg. 20 assassination attempts, and his country is now becoming sovereign with the rest of the Sahel, and other countries are coming into play as well. Nigeria is scaring the stuff out of people because now they have one of the world's biggest refineries, all right, in the world. Okay, so, and it's told that they're selling to the United States and selling to Europe. They don't need to give oil or crude to be processed somewhere else, and then you got to pay higher price to import it for your country. The negotiations, the flavor has changed for them, and it is time because listen, they've never been a civilization. We've been the only civilizations on Earth because our people and civilizations last thousands of years. There's not one of those that lasts more than 250 years up to this point. You know, so there's something that they're missing and always missing. You know, and so on. So as far as that's concerned, and the politics and what have you, right now, I'm in survival mode, trying to get things together to protect me and my family and Black communities and so on, and we can do that. You know, I'm only interested in us. You know, other people have other plans, let them go someplace else. You know, but this is where we should be, only interested in us. And every time we get to the point of power, they say, well, how come, how come we can't work together? You know, all this, we can't. We tried, we can't.
All right, y'all ain't been wanting to work together. Why?
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. You know, so everyone in control.
It's only during the time of crisis. You know, I think it's real interesting. If you look at the internet now, you will find tons and tons of white people on there trying to understand how come Black people aren't upset. How come Black people are not going crazy? How come Black people are not out in the street with us protesting? All that they're trying to figure it out, and that is because we know better. We see now. Okay, all of these protesters have been peaceful, right? When we go out there, it's going to be a whole different attitude. The policing is going to change. It's going to be combative, right? It's going to be a real protest. What they be having now are these nice demonstrations, these nice parades. They come out, they got their balloons, they got their signs, they got their things, and it's real nice. But and not only that, we're not shocked at what's happening. They're shocked. We tried to tell them ahead of time what it was going to be like in America. We warned them. We already knew. We said, listen, you saw what he did the first time. Imagine what he's going to do the second time if he get back in feeling even more powerful than he was the first time.
Oh, yeah.
We tried to warn them, but nobody, they listen, white folks went on ahead and voted the man, put him in. And so now they're dealing with what it is that they're dealing with. But I'm with you. I'm concerned about us and only us. I take help from wherever. But I think that we ought to be more concerned about us as Black people, because we have within us the ability to protect ourselves. We have the ability within us to not only survive, but to strive. And we have strived. We have strived more when we were separated than we have since we have come together. All right, after the Civil Rights Movement. And we find that our Caucasian counterparts, their biggest side thrown, their spear in the side is our happiness and our success. They are extremely jealous of our success. They're extremely jealous of our ability to be happy and jovial in any situation. And you will find when they see us thriving, that's why you have these stories about Rosewood and the Black Wall Street and these other places in Greenwood, where they went in and just tore down everything. These thriving communities, these thriving Black communities. What was that all about? Jealousy. Jealousy.
Oh, yes, it was Charlie. And just to speak about striving, you know, I'm happy at this point that the younger Black folks, the 30 somethings, they have seen the pain that we have gone through, and they have really understood what the difference they have to make. Because as we are speaking now on YouTube, there's a group of Africans right now have um, a platform, and it's called the Black Tube. You know who belongs to that platform, right? So we are not kind of laying back feeling sorry for ourselves, but we know once we have the involvement of those other people, all is going to fall down. I like how Charlie reflects upon Wall Street. The Black Wall Street was only destroyed out of jealousy, and no other reason.
No other reason. No other reason. All right. But I will be jealous too if I was
Oh,
a
yeah.
white person.
Ladies and nice dresses.
People that we held in bondage, that we have written laws against, that we have called shadow, that we have abused, that when we finally, the Lord made us let them go, okay, because of their rebellions, and we had to let them go, we gave them nothing. They didn't know, they had no money, they had no place to stay, they didn't know how to read. We made it against the law for them to understand how to read, in all of these things. And look what they have done.
With nothing.
With nothing.
With nothing.
And here you got all of your white privilege. Okay, whether you've used it or not, but then you see this person who has had everything
Especially
going,
white women.
and didn't have them see the success, you become jealous. How did they do that? They must be doing something illegal. All right. That's what they always think. You must be doing something illegal. If you are not entertaining them and making them feel good, right? If you're not dancing for them, you're not singing for them, you're not throwing a ball through a hoop, you're not running around with a pigskin or doing something. If you're not entertaining them, then you have no reason to be successful.
Oh, yes.
The ones that they accept, the celebrities, the athletes, and they give them tons of money. They get tons and tons of money to keep them entertained. That's what was the problem with Kaepernick. The problem with Kaepernick is that he took a knee. Now, what that means, he took a knee. When he took the knee, it reminded them of their treachery, their degradation, him taking the knee. They don't want to be reminded of their degradation at the football game. We're at the game now. You were supposed to entertain us. We're here to feel good. We paid $1,300 for this ticket to come here to have a vicarious experience and to feel good. And you're going to get down on one knee and remind me of my degradation and remind me of my shortcomings? No, we don't have none of that.
You know, it's something, you know, within the entertainment industry and the sports industry. You know, here you have these people, all these people who make money. You know, these athletes. That's why I call it another part of slavery. I don't care how much money they're making, and they
Absolutely.
throw these white women at them. You know,
Absolutely.
uh, and they throw these other perks at them, Nikes and all this other kind of stuff, which we really developed. There's this one brother, and I can't remember his name. He's a football player. He refused all of the perks, you know, the signing bonuses and everything else. And I think I sent it out, but he refused the signing bonuses and everything. You know, how can you refuse, you know, Nike, or how you confuse Mountain Dew or a beer commercial or what have you? And what he did on his own, he fostered his own name. And he's making more money than any of the companies that were trying to get him to give them signing on their products. You know, that scares them.
Right. That scares them.
That scares them.
Right.
You know, you don't have any control.
Listen, think about this. We talked about Rosewood, we talked about Black Wall Street, Greenwood, and we talked about all of that and their jealousy, right? Every time a Black person stand up to take control of their finances, they then work against getting rid of him or her, right? Bill Cosby was an American hero amongst blacks, white, and everybody else until he tried to buy NBC. Okay?
And
Michael Jackson was loved by us and by the industry until he told everybody that the industry was corrupt. And then he had the nerve to go in and buy the Beatles catalog. Shame on that nigga.
And he said it. He said it. They're messing with me because I own half of RCA.
Right. So now all of a sudden he's this big pedophile.
Yeah.
Messing with little kids and Wonderland and stuff like that. And here's another thing nobody's talking about, right? They talked about it, mentioned briefly that Michael Jackson was in the Epstein files. But come to find out, he was in the Epstein file trying to save the children from Epstein.
Yes.
How about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
They do it all the time. When you get to you're a black man, you're black male, black person, you get to a certain level, then they'll come after you to try to bring you down. That's what they always do. That's why Jay-Z said it don't matter at the end of the day when you're not around. To them, you just a nigga. Okay? And this is what he was talking about with OJ.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a pattern. This is what they do. You can see there's a pattern they do it with everybody. There's a formula that they use to break down black men.
And separate the black man from the black woman.
Right. Well, that's all been a part of the psychological warfare. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
when you think about Willie Lynch and the Willie Lynch theory, the ideal of beating and domesticating emasculating the black male in front of the women.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, doing all type of ungodly sexual things to them, while they were tied up in front of the women, and just to break what they call buck breaking.
Yep.
Right. So it's that psychological warfare. But again, some of it has broken. but a lot of us are still captive.
Yeah.
And learning.
But the pain runs very deep, because it was not just physical, it was also psychological and also spiritual. Because for
Okay.
us, we know that homosexual activity or even preference was not in our DNA. And that back breaking was really to break us in many ways than one. Because we remember Caligula and we know Europe, that was their favorite pastime. But in the African society, that was looked upon as something, not heard of, look how African women look. Why would you want to go a different direction? So we know how psychologically that played with us and how painful it was over the years. And some wounds has not yet been healed, as the last speaker said, because of how tragic it has been. And this pain is only generations of, really prayer and a mind change that we could overcome some of the things that was done to us. And just to think, we are not so very bitter as if other people it was done too, because we don't even have the heart to put anybody in slavery or to carry out these atrocious acts. We simply don't have it, to take we're not made up like that.
It's not in our DNA. It's not in our DNA. You know
But
what
no.
hasn't been in our DNA?
What's that?
Not reparation, not repatriation, but to get them back.
Revenge.
Revenge, but there's another word that I'm looking for, but I'll go with revenge. That hasn't been in our DNA either. But notice I've said it hasn't been in our DNA. We are, as a people, are getting fed up. And we, as a people, have come to the realization that no matter what we do, the masses of them are not going to like us. You're going to find some few and in between, okay? But it's going to be so hard, and it's so hard to trust what they do, even when you're not around. But those are the things that we will have to accept, that they don't like us. They're not going to like us. We thought that during the civil rights movement that if we was just around, if we just was able to go to your schools, eat at your restaurants, let's live together, you will see that we are not the threat that people have said that we are. Right? We thought that. Only come to find out that it don't matter.
Yeah, because we tried joining hands with them, going around the corner singing Kumbaya, but that shit did not work. They burned our houses down in return.
Absolutely. And what we saw as taking the high road, they see as weakness.
Yes.
But we are now it's like, okay, if you want us to fight fire with fire, maybe that's what we need to be doing. Because we tried in other ways, and every time you have broken the contract, you have broken the agreement. So what do we care? We've tried. We've bent over backwards. We've done everything, and we still suffer the abuse. We're still afraid to send our kids to school. We're still afraid to get in the car. We're afraid to get in the car because we know that if the police pull us over, there's a real possibility I'm not going home. Okay? Not only am I not going home, I might be going to the hospital. And there's also the possibility I may be going to the morgue. We know this. This is the climate that we live in, so nothing has changed. If you document it, you will see that the only thing that have changed is the color of the pictures. It's still the same damn thing.
That's all they know. They can only do what they know. And that's what it is. Because we have changed, we have evolved, we have grown, we have become educated, thinking from coming from our slave ship. And we have become a people because for some reason we remember that we were civilized. So when we come among a bunch of people and we see certain activities, we know they have not yet been civilized because the actions that they take so easy for them to do certain things and manipulate certain activities, it's like second nature to them. So therefore, we understand within our civilization, since we were those beings, we now have to show them how life really supposed to be. And they took control, as you said, out of pure evil. That's why they came on top. But really, all the fine tunings of being a human, let's say, washing your face, brushing your teeth, even having a bathroom, because they were the ones who used to have a pot and throw it through the window. That's where the saint said, you don't have a pot to piss in or window to throw it through. Because that was not just a saying, that was what they did.
That up. That's what he was always running around saying. You ain't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out.
That's because that's part of the history. That was their culture, the society. So we had to come.
Right. And things are not going to change until we have an honest and open conversation. I would say that to our white counterparts that say, listen, that was something that my ancestors did, right? So that was the sin of commission. What you're doing now by ignoring it is the sin of omission. So you're just as guilty. You are reaping and living off of the backs of those that have been persecuted by your ancestors. Okay? And if you don't take the time to make that right or to equal that out and you act like it didn't happen or it wasn't a big thing, then you are guilty of the crime of omission. But I will tell you this. They are in the process of trying to redo it. They're in the process of trying to rewrite history, moving Black accomplishments out of the museums, moving Black art out of the museums, moving Black accomplishments out of the history books, out of school books, changing the curriculum, taking Black people out of the information in the curriculum, and all of these things. They're in the process of doing that now. Okay? This administration have killed the oversight committees that they have on police complaints and police brutality. That and a bunch of other things. They just got rid of parts of the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act, excuse me. So they're trying to erase and rewind. It looks desperate. And no matter what you do, they can't erase it. Everybody got a recording now. Everybody got a record now. Are you stupid? How stupid do you think people are? You think because you took it out of the library, ain't nobody gonna know? You think because you took it down out of the museum, ain't nobody gonna know? Are you a fool or you think we fools?
It's too late for that now. It's really too late because it's like the cat is out of the bag, sort of. Because even if now the powers that be try to convince people differently, it's not happening. It's finished. It's finished. And as we speak, we spoke about leadership and the pride of leadership, and I just want to drop in the fact that the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated executive committee and a few members of some other locals, is now Burkina Faso. They went to visit President Traore to tell him about the federation. So, we big in Burkina Faso right now. They're coming back on Tuesday. So we would be happy to know that Ethiopian World Federation is moving and going certain places as we speak of, leadership and what to expect. Because we are seeing that for the motherland, things are slowly changing, and we are really, really happy to know that there is a change, and a change will come. Because what we are seeing on this side is almost, like agitated stuff. This has actually happened, and they are trying to make it happen again, by, the very MAGA statement. And what they mean, Charlie will explain it in clear, simple words. Why you want to bring back the old times? We know what the old times was. It was the good old times for a few people. It was the golden days for a few people. But for most people melanated, it was some terrible, wretched times. So we just want to step up into ourselves. And that's not being selfish when we have decided that we are no longer marching. We are no longer getting into fights that don't belong to us. And we are simply just doing us and our families. Because it has been long gone where we try to make it right, try to be subservient, try to bend, try to twist, just try to conform to the norm. It didn't work. It didn't work. So, my related brothers and sisters, love you all. We are special type of people with a special agenda sent for a certain purpose. And we just have to simply observe our purpose, why we're sent, and function in our capacity. We just have to leave who have to leave behind and push on forward because it's a new day. And we know that some of us will be left behind because that's just the way it is. But for the most part, Black people is on the rise and they're moving up, 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 up. And this is really good, a great day to be alive and to share such information. So, the panelists have our guests come on, they talk, they chat. Is someone else new join us? Feel free to just jump in the conversation. We welcome you. Greetings.
Greetings, good night, what's up? What you doing?
Good, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm great, it's been a while, from I touch it the first time, this is the second time now.
Yes,
RJ
Yeah,
but
the
this
fire,
is
RJ.
this is second time now, but to give thanks star. When I time the link never that work good, me that try connect and it ain't connecting, but I see it connect tonight.
that's so very good. So we welcome you tonight, brothers,
Yeah,
as you come on, and we know your music unit welcomes you. And of course,
yeah.
they're having their content coming soon. But we also, like, if you want to fill in with some conversation and tell us about something going on your side of town, we welcome that too because, it's Family Sunday. So, how you been? What's happening on your side?
Yeah, everything is great. Once there is life, we have to give thanks. You see it, but in Jamaica here still it's rough. It's rough and tough, but life nice. But from the storm blow still, you see me, the price them very high, cost of living kinda get more higher still kind of people them, you see me. So the minimum wage now balance with the cost of living and them thing there. So the people them kind of more stressed out, the price. But overall, things nice same way, you see me?
Yeah, because jungle and we understand systems are being put in place to keep certain ones and ones down. But as we grow a little more from strength to strength, we try to change that, make it a little different because we're gonna get back to the basic food, clothing, shelter. And
Yeah,
we know we had a devastation, but yet hold tight because something else might hit before the calm really comes. But just to know that one sweet day, one sweet day before we leave this earth, is Rasta gonna come. community is going to be the head of the Jamaican government. And that's prophecy, and that too shall come to pass. And we're going to tell lies in this side of town. But you hold tight, because we know we shall meet again before
Yes,
we
man.
cross within the sweet by and by. So hold tight, is Rasta government going to take over Jamaica, and that's when Jamaica is going to have peace, and the world is
Definitely.
going to have peace, because Jamaica is like the center of the universe, and everything Jamaicans do, people follow because of that spirit of the Jamaicans going through people, through people, through Israel. But so far, we have strayed far and fall far from the grace of the Almighty, and for that we go through certain punishments. But our Father, his hand is not too short that he cannot give. So you keep on, praying with him, because he takes care of his children. Because no matter what happens upon this earth, we have our daily bread. And, we're not going to be millionaires, because we understand what Babylon is. But, you pray for your daily bread, and, you listen to the show, that you may be blessed, because I got to keep you in my prayers, in my heart, and that it will be blessed for you. But hold tight, we soon meet again within, we rise into our higher state, and the royal kings and queens shall once be rulers of the earth, for we are in fact earth rightful rulers. So, we give thanks, and we give thanks to the families as they come and join us on Sundays. And, they come in from Jamaica. So we welcome the Caribbean, the warm sunshine now, brothers and sisters. So I want to say one love, Rastafari live it. Wonderful
Yes,
to
sir.
see you,
Give
brother.
thanks.
So, we keep you posted, and of course, we're going to have our concert coming up soon. So, we hoping to have a screen where we could showcase some of our families in the Caribbean. And that, you'll get more information from the musical director, Peter Shiro. He's going to give you more information as we go along. But on Sundays, we like the good vibes. We keep it read on the side. We do the truths. We do life truths as well, because we try to see how we can, just navigate through life difficult struggles, which it is difficult, because we are just here on a journey within spirit, in case within this human shell, having this human experience as we journey on, because we are just passing through, and for that we learn lessons. So though our sorrows may seem to be many, it's not really many as such, if we should take it for life lessons and for what it is meant to be. Because we are, in fact, spirit, and we are having this exercise of having this human experience. It's like going to the gym. You lift weights, you got the big muscles, you feel strong. But it's painful when you're trying to build your body in the gym, because it's determination, strength, perseverance. You go on with the pains, the aches, but eventually the results are good. So as we journey within life and life difficulties, we see that many a time, if we can just relax into knowing it's only a test, but then test wicked still, because how could I be going through this? And you go to Father, and sometimes you want your Father to turn his back, but no. He says, son, daughter, you're strong enough to face this, because he already said he would not give us more than we can bear. And that is the truth. And as we move from strength to strength, and we look back at past events, past traumatic events, we know we build and we grow from them. We do. We build and we grow from them. But only if we should not faint, because the race is not for the swiftest, but it's for those who can enjoy it to the end. And the battle is not for the strong. Again, endurance, perseverance. But then we build it in the spirit. How great it is that for all the struggles I have been through and all the bad treatment that I have been given, I actually want to go and shake those people's hands and tell them thank you. Because for the woman that Father has shaped me to be today, I would not have been this vessel of fine gold that he can use now for his purpose until I have gone through the fire. And I think I went through about two extra fires just because he wanted to prove a point. I said, Father, I think I went through, two extra ones, because I think it's just 7 times you go through. I went through about 17, I'm telling you right now. But my God, he said, no, I just wanted to make you more bright for the purpose. So, a bright angel, never mind the struggle. And you can always come on to see the Sunday show, where we are very relaxed across here, and we help you relax. And I'm saying to you, a great blessing of which you know I would like you to receive. So may your week be filled with prosperity and peacefulness. You know, for my mouth, God ears, and you shall receive. And you shall also believe. This shall happen. I know you're going to come back next week and give us a testimony because we do church over here sometimes. You know, sometimes I make it just go into preaching sometimes if it's Sunday, you know. If a father drop a word, or they will hear service going on. But, you know, nice to see you, nice to have you, and I should say, and we are alive, you know, to see each other's face. So we want to give glory and praise unto the Almighty name for Jalil and one love, brother. So again, bless. And you know, childhood, nice to invite, you know, the warm sunshine, and we thank you as well, you know, for being part of our show and being that long-standing
Real.
guest, I should say. So we thank each and every one, as I said, and you know, the Ethiopian World Federation. We are doing great things. They are now in Burkina Faso. They're going to hang out with tourists. I just tell them, make sure to drop my name over there. I'm just telling you. So that when we forward, we are family. But he has extended his arms onto the federation. He like what we're doing. And you know, if you have a federation in your area, you inquire about the Ethiopian World Federation. It's a wonderful umbrella to be under. It's the largest organization for we, the Black people of the world. Your fee is only 10 cents a week. That's $5.20 for a whole year. And you know, sometimes we make donations. We help our brothers and sisters as we go along. But it's really good to just pay your dues because it gives you a responsible, you know, feeling about being a member. It gives you pride as well because it's not too much to ask. And that's just to build the organization. And we must leave something for our children, our generation, as we, the Black people of the world. So now, you know, we have come to a time upon the earth where we just doing self. We're not trying to be selfish. We're just trying to be wise because the hour has come. It's almost 5 minutes to midnight, and we don't have enough time to help out those people. We could only grab our picnic, grab our elders, and forward because the time has come. No more playing Mr. Nice Guy, no more kumbaya dance around the fire, no more inviting to the barbecues. It's over, that's done with. So we just gonna see what we can do as a people. We cannot pass blame. We know Santa Claus not coming down no chimney. He has not done it for us. So we know we have to create our own joy upon this earth. We are going to do it by ourselves, for ourselves. Yes, we can because we have proven it over and over again. And just to think really, when they want the good vibes, who they have to come to? Us. We have the spirit, we have the energy, and we have the vibes. If the world don't have any black people, there might not be a good world to live in, it just be peace. So we know who we are, and as a people, we are going to embrace ourselves. And I'm saying to you, we have to love self because if we don't love self, we can't love anybody else. And we take pride in understanding we are the first people, we are the original people, and we are God's people. We are Jah people. And the fact that we are not wicked is because we cannot be wicked, it's not in our DNA. Because for the wicked thing that have been done to us as a people, the impact of a ship like Sadi, beaten, rape, and everything else, we should wake up in the morning with a freaking attitude. But we don't have that. We have love in our heart because we are God children. Father said he created it after his own image and likeness. That's why we are beautiful creatures. We are sweet spirited creatures because that's our makeup. That's who we are. And we're not going to change because they have treated us badly. No, we know a time will come and a place to deal with certain matters, but we say, no, Father, you deal with that because we don't want to go around the earth bitter. We are not. Black people are some of the happiest people upon the earth. In a matter of fact, if I hanging out, I'm only going to hang out with black people. I'm telling you one time, I'm safe. Any part of the world I go, I'm just looking for the ones who, you know, I'm just telling you, I hang out with people with love because I know we are built a certain way. We have empathy and we are built as mind eater beings. We have certain understanding of nature, of the earth, and of the Almighty God. We know whatever language we call him in. I am just telling you, Black people are believers in the higher dimension and higher forces. And not because you see many of them may not run to church. They don't find out about the pastor, they don't go to church. Church age is over. They already know what time it is. But we see sincere Black people that love the Almighty. We see it with them. Nice old ladies, elder men. We see that they know He lives. They may not be all Rasta people because, we just flash, not because, Father gave us the peculiar job. But we are Black people that love Father. And we see it a lot within our community. So we may not fool it. We know Black people full of love. And we know that to be true. There will be a few rottennecks among us. Oh, yes. But for most part, we are a nation of loving people. I am telling you. And for what we have been through, we are not even bitter. We just go on with it because we know there's one that we serve. And our heart is in a good matter. And we know as long as we keep living within the precepts of the Almighty, the laws, we're going to be all right because we are comforted within the arms of the Almighty. And I'm telling you, I'm a living, breathing, true creature of knowing the love of Father. I know how much my Father loved me. I do. And I love him the same. We have a good love fest going on, me and Ahaya. We love each other. Yeah, I am that I am. And at the station, we make no apologies because we know who we serve, we know where our heart is, and we know what's the truth. And the truth is love, not the superficial love that man with woman, I love you because we have some ulterior motive. No, a true and dying love, unconditional love that only a father, a heavenly father, could feel for his children. Because we are at fault. Every day we sin, every day we fall short of the glory, but yet we get on our knees and we pray and we beg unto the Almighty, have mercy upon us, because of the God that loves and could have mercy. But this is where we reach within our existence that unless we follow after the higher things, spiritual things, you're not going to get anywhere within this earth. The earth has come a really trying place, and we have to balance among forces that are quite demonic and are bigger than us, really much bigger. Because as strong as you may feel, it is no easy thing to be in the presence of a demon. It is no easy feat. Some would not be able to stand. I have heard in some cases, some could even be crippled. And that's a real true story because, of course, we only the truth sometimes. So, for my listening audience, I want to give you all the time to say something because, we could talk from now to midnight. So, let me give you a chance to speak. Welcome.
For real, man, give thanks today. A little knowledge, yeah, they inspire me a lot. Yeah, man, cause whole heap, I go through, and I really me alone to whole heap of youth like myself, yeah, in Jamaica, yeah. Some more times some murder advice really inspire us. Yes, so let's give thanks to the reasoning and the whole settings. Cause I'm just there and I'm a place kind of boring, and so me go tune in still. And you see me, so we have to just keep on organize and centralize. You see it, some of the careless Ethiopian them are gonna always be themselves. We don't get one about the careless Ethiopian them. You see it. So as you say, we can't make them burn down the thing. We have to just chat along if them not take heed. You see it.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yeah, man, go on do the great work, so first of all, right.
Keep the faith. Keep the
Definitely,
faith.
yes. Yes, Empress.
Yes, Lion.
Oh, Peter Shiloh, go on, everything heights.
He probably
Real
has you
man.
because we're talking.
Yep.
I know.
Bless my Lord, bless. Yeah, man.
Yes,
Take my time and recuperate. See it?
yes,
Yeah,
it's right. Man.
yeah.
Strength to strength,
I have to
the
turn out to
EWF.
support the thing. Yeah.
Bushites.
Yeah, man, we work on the show for July the 18th. And thing, we got give out some flyers and all them things on the road and things. So, that arrange up right now. Just a jump up on it and thing, you know.
Real
So we
Bushites.
want this 18 of July show, yeah. Second anniversary be a bigger thing, you understand? Yeah.
And maybe we can do a podcast on that day. We check with Charlie to see if it's possible. Or if I don't know how
Yeah.
one to, Charlie, I don't know
Well,
how we can do the show, but we'll try because we still have time. Technology will
We
allow
got
us.
time to figure it out. We'll see. We'll see how it work out. There may be a way.
Okay, wonderful. So Charlie he's gonna find a way. Charlie always helps us out with these difficult situations. So we would be able to have some of our guests come through on the podcast to be in the concert as well. So we would like that very much. So we're gonna work hard on doing that. And we have a little time to catch up as well. It's July 18th, 2026. We're gonna show up and show off with our local 26 musical unit of the Ethiopian Rose Federation Incorporated. So, we're having a nice evening. I don't know how we did on time, Charlie, because, we talked to our Facebook. How we did on time, Charlie? Okay, we can go on all night, but we keep our program 2 hours, not to bore anybody. So we kind of check with the time now. All the time is looking, Charlie. Okay, so I know we
On the
probably,
couch. Can you hear me?
yeah.
Yeah, we've been running at 1 hour and 36 minutes. Is about we scheduled for 2, but we've used up 136.
Yeah, I think I get a better audience appreciation when it's a little under two because 2 or 3 people tell me, but the show is so long. I said, we don't have to listen for all 2 hours. Just put on like a radio and just listen, press like and press subscribe and make sure you start to share. But I was so happy, Charlie, that you were able to break it down into some little snippets. So for those people who don't have the tolerance to 2 hours of a good thing, we gave them a 3 minutes, and they are so appreciative. I say the word again, short attention span people. It's like, what's going on? You know. So can someone else join us? Greetings. Okay. Greetings. I thought we are having company.
somebody else join?
I was wondering if that's the answer. I don't know. I'll soon find out when I pull up the screen. Ayaka? Yatka. Greetings,
Oh, yeah,
Yatka. Yeah. But he's not responding. Maybe his mic is muted. Yatta. Taylor. So Yatta is another member of the musical unit of Local 26. And he come on with us. Sometimes he has a lot to say, but for some reason he's muted his mic. And when we can bring him on, we will as well. But we have our other guest with us as well. And there's something else I want to talk about that's happening now. It's not going to affect us vegetarians on a personal level, but there's something else that's happening upon the earth right now, and it's seemingly that people are getting an acceptance to eating human flesh. I find it to be quite ridiculous, but the more and more I'm seeing this information, it seems that if they want to just numb us down for a minute, and we have to accept this. Because at first you thought it, oh no, that was just a joke. But now seriously, I brought it earlier on in the program. I just crossed my mind again because I can't seem to unsee what I saw earlier on this week. Your freezer areas packed with meat. You have the minced meat for the cow. You have various other types. You have the duck, the fish, other types. And then you see clearly labeled in the freezer compartment human flesh. So this has become quite disturbing. And I'm not sure which grocery store it's in, but clearly it's in a grocery store. And I have seen about 3 videos for the week. That this is happening. And as I said, they're trying to somehow normalize it, but it's in grind form, other chunks, and they have suggested recipes. I mean, I can't make up a story. They have pictures of burgers, pictures of shish kebabs, that you could enjoy using this type of flesh. And this is coming more and more in our face. So what is really happening here? I will throw it out there for my audience as well. Have you all seen this phenomenon?
Yes, I saw it on the news. I
Okay.
saw it. I saw it. You know, they're eating human beings, and they said it's the hold on soon not the alien, the immigrants. When they take away the immigrants and they are missing, send them to prison and when them unalive or murder or what they want to call it, them. They put them on fridge and then them grind them up. And you end up into a burger.
Why,
So
why you
a
laughing?
burger.
You laughing?
That's not
Yeah,
fair.
yeah. You end up the person end up into a burger. I don't even want to discriminate what
Look,
McDonald's or
look,
what here, but they end up
your
into a
Uncle Mac
burger.
is probably your Uncle Mac is now in Big Mac, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There
Serious.
was this Jewish rabbi, I think his name was Finkelstein,
Yes.
who was on,
Finkelstein.
and he was saying how they have been kidnapping children and killing them, sacrificing them to Moloch, and taking the bodies and grounding them up and making meat out of them and then selling the meat to McDonald's. This is a few years ago.
I
He was
saw
like,
that video.
he
I
said, I
saw
don't have
that.
a problem saying it. He said, I said all out. He said, you know why? Because you're not going to believe me. So
You're
I'll
not
say
gonna
it.
believe it.
You're not going to believe me.
You're not
But
gonna
that's
believe
all
it.
it is.
And that's over 10 years ago. I saw that video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a documentary with a person went into a supermarket and found a human limb accidentally packaged out. Serious. Limb packaged out
And
and
Yeah, like
for
part of
plastic
a
real.
and in
leg.
supermarket for
I
sale.
think it was a leg or something like that.
Yes,
And they
yes,
had
yes.
wrapped it up and everything and had it on the shelf.
Yes,
And
yes,
didn't
yes,
realize
yes.
that they had did that.
And the person came live and said they want to know what is happening here. I saw it on the news.
Listen, not only
Yes.
that, you have these stories now of these people that went to this a high-end store, Valencia. Have you heard of the designer Valencia?
Oh yes, yes.
They have a
Demonic.
store and they had these mannequins, right? And the guy and the people was in the store, and one of the mannequins looked exactly like their missing friend. They called the cops and everything. Now, there was another case with the same store, Valencia. They said that the mannequin, you can see with it, the paint had chipped off of the hand, but under the chipped paint, you see what looked like human skin.
Yep.
Okay, now they got this dead person that they done stuffed
Mummified.
and put him on, put him in the window. He a mannequin now. She
Well,
a
that's
mannequin,
art.
and that's
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 art.
like art, right? So imagine what if they killed this person, right? Took all of the organs, sold the organs, took the body, stuffed it up, and made a mannequin
Yeah,
out of it,
mummified. The
mummified, put him
creature.
on the floor, and then set him on the floor,
Yeah,
or put him
that's
in the
art.
window with the latest coat.
That Valencia is slash demonic, and that's quite acceptable in their world. They probably get a kick out for it.
Yeah. So no, I didn't see the video that you saw with them eating the humans, and I'm awfully glad that I did not, because I was getting sick just listening to you describe what they were doing in this video. So I'm glad I didn't see it. But they got footage in the Epstein files of them doing the same thing, all sitting
Yes,
around the table eating
spare
some
rib,
person.
spare ribs is no longer to be looked at the same way.
I mean, listen, there used to be a movie out, so I'm surprised. I'm su- what can I say? Can I say I'm surprised? I'm not surprised. Just maybe disappointed. But I saw a movie some time ago, and some of you guys may be familiar with it. A video called "Faces of Death,"
Yes,
right?
yes,
And
yes.
in the video, they had all of this live footage of people dying. And there was a series, Faces of Death, part 1, part 2, part 3. And in one of those parts, they did when they showed these white people at a restaurant, and they would bring in a live monkey, okay? And they had a hole cut out of the table where they would open up, put the monkey in, they would close it up, and so all of the monkey body would hang out except for the head. And they had these mallets that they had, and they would hit the monkey in the head until the monkey died.
To get the monkey brain.
They would crack open the head and then sit there with their fork, and they would all pick and eat the monkey's brains.
Barbaric.
I watched them do it
I've seen faces of that. I've seen it.
like it was some type of delicacy,
Ritual.
right? So
Yep.
that's certain things we just cannot put past certain people. I'm not going to tell you who the people was, but I would tell you wasn't no black people sitting at that table.
Okay, so let's go more recent because something just really grossed me out. And I actually did not eat for that whole day. And I did not realize the impact it had on me. I saw this show on TV, and you all know it, it says Fear Factor. So I said to myself, I don't think there's anything that can make me frightened, Fear Factor. But then they were up against this challenge, and the winner gets 50,000. And when I saw the feat of what they were going to do, you can even give me $1 million to do that because they mix up some kind of worms with some kind of feces, some kind of different things. And these people had to eat that. That was part of the fear factor. But my fear was, what would my health be after I finish eating all of this mess? So while they were eating it, I'm thinking, but I started to, oh, I really couldn't sit down with fear factor because I was afraid of what they were eating. My stomach just turned, and I'm saying for 50,000, but then the amount of parasites will go into your system, you would need more than 50,000 to remove that.
To remove
So
it.
that's yeah, I mean, you know where we're going with it. So
But
I
again, there's
have
only certain people. Like I've never saw there'd be black people on Fear Factor, but I've never saw really a lot of black
that's where
people
I'm going with it. That's where I'm
on,
going with it.
on Fear Factor. And you know what other show I used to think about? There was a show out some time ago, and I think it's still out now. called Naked and Afraid.
Yes, see
Yeah.
that one.
So they would take two people,
I've seen
take all
that.
their clothes, they was naked, put them out in the jungle, and then they gotta survive. There was only one no black people. I saw one black people on 5 seasons.
Because there was
But
no leaves, because there was no leaves big enough to hide the mid area.
Listen, I'm like, why? What is it? What is it with these people that make them want to do something like that? And now with
Because
this show, you don't
they
win
were
no money. It ain't no prizes at the end of this show. With Naked and Afraid.
they
There
were
ain't no 50,000, ain't no 100,000, no $1 million or nothing like that. You just made it. All you got is bragging rights. But then you see the after shows. You see that they be in the hospital. They be all swolled up. The girl that she was all beat up. She was bit up on so many places. Her whole body looked like a piece of leather. She looked like an alligator. She had so many bite marks on her after doing that show. So it's like, why? What's the psyche that makes you want to go out there just to see if you can survive?
She was trying to connect with ancestors.
Okay. Well, she connected 1,000 times. All right.
They connected with her, those insectoids.
She connected, all right. I don't know. I mean, you don't want to bash. But I mean, when you just think about it, when you think of these shooters, who is doing what? And why? What's the psyche behind that? What's the mental process behind that? Why is that okay for you? Why is that acceptable? Why is that acceptable behavior?
They want to feel something. They want to feel something to make them feel that they're alive, that it means something.
That's
see,
why you don't have no black. That's why you don't have no black people, because we ain't got to go through all of that to feel that way.
We just have to wake up.
Right, we just got to go outside. Just wake up, go outside. Just go to the store. Go to the store and back. I'm a survivor. You know what I mean? We don't have all that. We don't have it. There's nothing in us that make us go on the weekend want to go someplace and jump outside of a goddamn mountain or jump out of a plane.
Try to make it through a traffic stop, Charlie. That's survival right there.
They want to take all that we have.
That might be naked and afraid.
They want to take all that we have, and they know that we have been through all those judgments and survived. So they want to take our survival skills also. I look at it that way.
Yeah, they want to.
We have survived. If we have survived slavery and all them hardship there, and we still survive nature. They want to strip of us of all what we have, our dignity, They want to strip us. So by doing that, they think they could face Mother Nature like that. Yeah, but they are wrong. Yeah, they are wrong.
At least
we're coming up on 9:03. We got 7 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm gonna run to that now. I will say we really thank each and everyone who came out this evening and this wonderful Sunday evening. We have really come down to a beautiful canvas show. We were able to reflect with each other as we are brothers and sisters, and we reflect also on the Almighty that He know He have woken up this morning and He had to sustain us through the day. And we thank for each and every one who may feel a little sad, a little broken, and have probably lost the love they had. But it's all right because, we are here, we are family. And for whatever trials you may go through or feel you're going through, know that someone else has gone through it before you and they have already made it. And may your trials make you stronger, make you wiser as you continue along this journey. I want to thank Charlie, my engineer, for coming on and really presenting the show that we can always be here for you. For Peter Shire giving us our jingle. We want to thank our brother Push from Jamaica who came through as well. May it be well with your soul. Ronnie, we thank you so much. We know you have so much knowledge to share with us, and we give thanks. And to each and everyone who did come out with us and are listening to us in the studio and on YouTube, we want to give thanks. So may the Almighty, a higher bless and keep each and everyone until we meet again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and to each and everyone, I want to say good night.
And may I select a big praise to whom all praise our due is the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated Women Auxiliary presents Empress Sadi Saunders.